So there are a lot of effective strategies that you could be doing in order to capture sort of the startup market and job opportunities available. I would definitely recommend to subscribe to as many newsletters as you possibly can. You've got your Startup Daily, you've got Tank Stream newsletters, a lot of those ecosystem newsletters that you can be a part of. That way you're going to be able to identify which businesses are receiving funding, which should ultimately mean they're about to hire. So if there's opportunities or businesses that you're really interested in, then they're the types of publications that you want to keep your eye on. You could also go to industry events. Going to a lot of industry events would definitely help your network, particularly if you're going to events where it is focused on founders or entrepreneurs or the startup space. That way you're really going to rub shoulders with those that are going to effectively hire and build relationships before opportunities have become available. Typically, the founders that I've worked with in the past, when they're filling their first early stage hires, it's usually people that they already know or feel comfortable working with. So they tend not to go out to market. It's usually a lot of word of mouth and referral. And it's only when they go through that next stage of growth or the next phase of scale that they'll engage a recruiter like Nudge, or they'll look to advertise directly. If you want to differentiate yourself when applying for a startup role, I think it's really important that you can identify a similar type of role that you've had that has been within a startup business. Even if it's your own entrepreneurial kind of venture that you've started to create, I think all startup businesses want to know that you've previously had success working for a startup. And without that, it's very, very different to position yourself as an expert within the startup field. So think of ways that you can customize your LinkedIn profile. Think of ways that you can add information to your resume, and whether that's working for a startup business yourself or having previous experience working within an early stage business, you need to make that really clear on your application. When considering a role in a startup, there are a couple of red flags that you will want to explore before you apply or even get through to the offer stage. And that's really around the company funding cycle and thinking about, is the business bootstrapped? Is it going through seed funding? Have they raised an X amount of capital through private equity or venture capital firms? I think funding's a really important aspect of what you should be considering. So it's all well and good to be in love with the dream and the vision or the purpose of the organisation you're wanting to join. But at the end of the day, if there's no financial runway, it's going to be really difficult for success, regardless of how amazing the team is. So really think about the funding journey and how much runway there is for you to achieve success within the role that you've been assigned for. I'm just thinking of a success story of a candidate that I've worked with, and in terms of his approach and the way that he kind of captured my attention in order for me to want to pursue him, was rather than doing a standardised application or pushing something forward on LinkedIn, he actually sent me a voice memo first through LinkedIn, which I found really interesting. I didn't actually know that you could do that. And through listening to his genuine message and sort of the reason he wanted to connect with me first and apply for the opportunity that I bought into his vision. You know, I really believed in his genuine interest, his passion, his interest in wanting to be part of a business with a purpose. So following that, I called him immediately. And then once again, just the little things in between an application, you know, sending a text message to me or sending a short video through email just to reinforce his interest. And I think when we're working in the world of technology, it's quite easy to forget we should be using and relying upon it. I think it's so easy to hide behind text and hide behind a resume facade, but when you're actually putting some human element to your application, it makes a really big difference.